been playing Geometry Dash for a very long time, so you would think I would know the editor like the back of my hand. That's the front of my hand. But you would think I would know every single combination of blocks, spikes, and all that, right? But there's one section in this game that I have yet to master. Wait a minute, I could have sworn you have a tutorial on your channel. Can I help you? Did I ask for your input? Now, don't get me wrong, I come to this tab all the time. I always use start positions, color, move, the occasional stall, pulse, alpha, toggle, and even the spawn trigger and the rotate trigger. But as far as follow, shake sometimes, animate sometimes, follow Y, all these triggers in this game, and I have yet to just straight up master it. So that's what we're gonna do today. So we're gonna experiment, have some fun, and do some things with the triggers. So without further ado, let's master the editor. Now the color trigger. Now I use this quite often, but there are actually a lot of things that I don't use in here. Like, I know how the touch trigger works. Obviously, if you touch the thing, then it works. So obviously, touch trigger, all that means is when your character touches the trigger, it works. So you don't have to worry about it. Like, just it touches and it works. That's how touch works. Saturation, brightness. I use this all the time. So you know, the color trigger actually, I use it quite often. I actually use it quite a bit actually. Now that I think about it. The move trigger. Oh man. The move trigger I also use quite often, but there's one button that I really never use, and that is use target. Now use target, I know what it does, because all it is say for example, I'm just gonna put I don't know, let's get a circle, and I put that in group ID 1. What I can do is I can get a block, put this in group ID 2, and go back to the move trigger, make my target ID group 2, and I want it to go to that circle and ease in, ease out. And what's gonna happen is that block is gonna go straight to it, right at the center, no matter where I move it, because I can move like right here off grid, it's gonna go straight to it, just like that. Pretty useful actually if you're doing like some type of movement with coins or blocks or anything like that. This is a pretty useful movement. You can make it only follow on the x-axis like that. You can only make it follow on the y-axis, like go up. So yeah, that's pretty simple. I just never really use it. All right, the stop trigger is pretty simple. It stops triggers. So say for example, I make this group ID 1, make something move to the right, something like that. Like, yeah, let's make this group 1, and I just stop 2 from happening. Stop the move trigger from happening. It doesn't. Wait, what? There we go. It has to happen after the trigger occurs. Pulse trigger. I am not sure what exclusive means. I'm not gonna lie. Disable all other pulses on the same ID when activated. Disabled in editor? Wait, what? Do you guys tell a difference? Because I can't. I'm not sure. That's what exclusive means. It literally means that the other trigger with the same ID stops working completely.
Now that's what this is all about.
The follow trigger. Huh. You know, I was trying to use this in my geometrical dominator video. It didn't work out. That's because it's used for something completely different. So, say for example, I just make it group ID 1. I need it to follow something. So I need it to follow this random default block. I want this to follow it. To move the default block to 70 to the right. So what this should do, whoops, this should follow the default block, like wholeheartedly, like this. It follows it, just like that. So typically you want to have this like at least somewhat close to what you want it to follow, or it can have it slightly ahead, slightly behind. You do you. If I make it go negative, it goes the opposite way. Just like that. That's pretty useful, Animate trigger is one of the more broken triggers that RobTop has released, because the monsters, as soon as you die once, they just revert back to their original state. For example, like the big beast, I'm just gonna have him idle. So like he's group ID 1, and we're gonna give him animation ID 2. He should be idle, right? Okay, that's not idle. Wait, what's idle again? No. Constant attack is 1. But as soon as you die once, oh. I could have sworn you were broken. Okay, so apparently it's not broken anymore. I could have sworn the trigger was broken. I could have sworn it was broken. So now we're getting to the triggers that are basically glorified spawn triggers that people don't use too often. You pass it or you touch it and that's all you get. But with these triggers, these are extra. These are spawn triggers, but with extra stuff, like extra conditions. Let's get the Sakupin wall. Why not? Bing, bing, bing. Okay, got Sakupin wall. So obviously you can no clip through it, but obviously you can't pass this, right? You just die, right? But I want this to go away for some reason. Like I want Sakupin wall to go away. Obviously I want it to be toggled, right? However, I don't want to just toggle after I pass the trigger. That makes no sense. So let's spawn trigger it, right? You're going to put the toggle trigger into a group ID number 2. Now we can actually start doing some stuff with it, you know what I'm saying? So group ID 2, what is hold mode? What is hold mode? Oh, that's when you like hold the screen. Okay, so we got toggle on and toggle off. So the touch trigger can act like a toggle trigger. So when you touch, this should activate it, right? No, so what I accidentally did, I toggled off the trigger itself. That's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to actually put toggle on, so it activates the toggle trigger itself. So when you click, it happens. The count trigger. Interesting. This is another trigger that I don't really use very often, because I don't really feel the need to do so, because I don't really have like coins or collectibles in my levels. But I know in platformer mode I'm going to be having that in order for you to complete the level. So let's do some potions. I always use coins. Let's use the potions for once, guys. So we're gonna have a nice I don't know, is this a good looking potion? I mean, I would drink it. To be fair, I do like the 2.2 potion a little bit more. I like the slimness of it. And we're gonna have to edit special this. It's gonna be a pickup item. I know this has a toggle trigger. Like literally when you pick this up, it acts like a toggle trigger. So that's what that means. Like you can enable a group, disable a group. It's a toggle trigger. You already know what a toggle trigger does. We're gonna make this item ID 1. Why not? We'll worry about the subtract count later. So we'll make this group ID 1 and we'll make it pickup ID 1. Item ID number 1. Okay, got our count trigger. So we're gonna go ahead and max that up. The item ID is 1. What do I want to happen when you collect this? Okay, so when you collect this, all right, let's have another Sakupin wall. Let's just start simple. When you collect it, it goes away, but only if you do a certain thing. So spawn triggered like that. There we go. Okay, now it's making sense. So target at 3 is 3. Do I need to put the target count or no? Activate group. There we go. Finally. All right, so you collect the potion, the Sakupin wall goes away. All right, so say for example you have to collect 3 of them. If you don't collect 3 of them, you should die. Okay, and when you collect 3 of them, it goes away. Okay, that's pretty simple. Oh, and you can multi-activate this too. Interesting. Because then you can go back and reset all this. Ooh. So Sakupin wall, he's in the way. You can't pass him. He can get past, but it's spawn triggered. And we're gonna put this in group ID 2. So next is the instant count trigger, which I'm assuming is going to be the exact same thing as the count trigger, except this one has equals, larger, and smaller added to it, which I'm actually pretty glad Rotop separated the two. Okay, so as soon as you hit the number, that's when it activates. Now, with the instant count trigger, what happens is if you can get something equal to it, larger to it, or smaller to it, then it'll activate. Item ID 1, target ID 2. What if I make the coins target ID number 1 as well? I think that's supposed to be like a coin counter, isn't it? Okay, cool. All the coins just had to be in the same item ID. Got it. So let's say we have, if you collect more than, you have 3 coins. If you collect more than 3 coins, it will activate the trigger. So 1, 2, 3, and as soon as it counts all that, the Psychopin wall goes away. However, say for example, you only collect, I don't know, you only collect 1 coin. If you have less than 3 coins, don't even collect it. If you get something larger than 3 coins, it'll activate the toggle. So 1, 2, 3. It doesn't go away because 3 is not larger than 3. 3 is equal to 3. So if I get equals to, bop, 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 Psychopin wall goes away. Okay, that's pretty, that's the instant count trigger. Pretty dope, pretty dope. And you can even activate this trigger with other spawn triggers. Man, you can make a whole video game out of this, bro. That's crazy. Now, there is one trigger that I never use. I never used this once in my life. The pickup trigger. Yet in so many custom games, I see this trigger get used and I'm like, how? So, okay, item ID 1. Yeah, nice help, Rob Top. Really helpful. Oh! I get it. Hold on. Group ID item 1. It's gonna follow and track ID 1. Okay. We're gonna make this follow us. Okay. 1 6. Make it follow players X for 10 seconds. Okay, so when you collect a coin or whatever, like collect one of the custom coins, edit special, pickup ID 1. This should equal 5. Okay. No. Wait, what? So when you pass this trigger, it makes the item ID equal 5? So what if I just like pass through here? Like, is this going to equal 15? 5, 10, 15. Interesting. I figured out the algorithm. Ladies and gentlemen, I figured out the algorithm. I see why people use the pickup trigger now. They're using the pickup trigger in conjunction with the freaking instant count trigger. So when you run into the pickup triggers or pass them, something happens. That's why they do it. Okay, we have a Psychopin wall here, right? We have a Psychopin wall. We're gonna toggle group ID 2. However, it's spawn triggered and it's multi-triggered. We put this in group ID 3. Group ID 3 is activated by the instant count trigger right here. It's going to be group ID 1, and we're going to make it equal to 15. And if it equals 15, by the pickup triggers, this wall should deactivate. Let's find out. 5, 10, 15. Wait, I did it wrong. You're supposed to activate the group in 15. One last trigger to go, ladies and gentlemen. Well, 2, I guess. And that's the collision and the on-death trigger. 2 triggers that I've been experimenting with the collision trigger and the on-death trigger. The on-death is actually really simple. It's just that when your character dies, it's the spawn trigger of that. So we might skip that one, I'm not gonna lie. The collision trigger though, you might look at this and think, whoa. Block ID, block AID, block B, what does that all mean? Allow me to show you, because I did a little bit of experimentation. So before we even do anything inside that UI, let's go ahead and have something happen. I want the background to pulse, I don't know, make it pulse green, sure. Make it pulse green for 70 seconds, right? We got background, that's not the background. However, I want it to pulse under a certain condition. So we're gonna go ahead and put it spawn triggered and, you know, multi-triggered just for experimentation. Why not? Now we're gonna put this in group ID number 1. Now we're going back into the collision trigger and target ID number 1. Activate group. First things first, we're gonna have something follow the player's X. So we're gonna put this in group 2, lock the player's X and Y for like 10 seconds. Oh, that's actually perfect. That's like perfect hitbox. Look at that. All right, I need to make you block ID 1. And I'm also going to make you the dynamic block because this is going to be the block that activates like everything it touches. And you'll see what I mean. So since this is block ID number 1, we're going to go back into the collision trigger and make block AID number 1, right? Well, I need another of these blocks. There we go. This is going to be number 2. I need to make block B number 2. So what's supposed to happen, and it's going to happen, is when one collides into number 2, the background's gonna pulse. Don't believe me? Just watch me. See, man, see, you know, I'm just a creator, bro. But that's pretty much all the experimenting I wanted to do. If you guys want a part 2 of Geometry Dash editor experiments, please let me know in the comments and with that like button. And yeah, this has been your boy Souls, and I will see you guys next time. Later.